Millions in pirates' gold and shipwrecks may await discovery along northwest Florida, South Alabama coastlines and interior regions. Hurricanes have contributed to the number of shipwrecks, with Pensacola Bay among the prime sites. These sites are also famous for much rumored hidden pirate treasure. The western side of Florida, particularly the northwest portion as well as the coast of Alabama and inland, are rich areas for the exploration of hidden treasures. 2 shipwrecks were recorded in 1766, one a French ship which wrecked on the coast between Pensacola and Mobile, Alabama. The second wreck was a Spanish ship sailing from the Bay of Campeche, Mexico to Pensacola, and wrecked off the Isle of Rosie, near Pensacola. On October 1766, a hurricane seriously damaged the harbor of Pensacola, and 5 large, richly laden Spanish galleons, sailing from Veracruz, Mexico for Spain, wrecked in the Bay of St. Bernard, west-southwest from Pensacola. According to histories and logbooks, British-controlled Pensacola was, in March 1781, expecting an attack from a large Spanish/French force. The only defensive warship the British had in the bay was the HMS Mentor, a sloop of war with 18 12-pounder cannons and 6 18-pounders. The Mentor was trapped and unable to leave. Since the sloop would have been facing off a fleet of over 34 Spanish and French warships, Captain Robert Deans decided his crew should help defend Pensacola. According to his logbook, he ordered a small crew to take the Mentor up what is now Blackwater River in the extreme northeast of Pensacola Bay. Records indicate that 2 days later 3 crewmen who stayed with the Mentor decided to set the ship on fire as a small Spanish schooner sailed toward their position. According to stories, the remains of the burned ship have never been found. History actually records 4 geographic areas that were once Pensacola settlements, and additional research might help detectorists work in these areas. First was the Deluna settlement, followed by a wood and earth fort, in 1693, located at the present-day Pensacola Naval Air Station, and then in 1722 the settlement was built on Santa Rosa Island, approximately 1.5 miles to the east-southeast of where Fort Pickens is today, and finally in 1750 the basics of what is now modern-day Pensacola were built. Many scholars and treasure hunters in the Florida Panhandle say that Pensacola and Pensacola Bay were summer bases for coastal pirates. A good place to search through old records and maps is the University of West Florida's Library Special Collections Department. On April 27, 1863, a sloop of war, the USS Preble, exploded off Pensacola.
The bay is the site of 30 to 40 notable wrecks. On June 11, 1559, 13 ships set sail from Veracruz, Mexico under the command of Don Tristan de Luna y Arellano. The ships roughly followed the coastlines of Mexico and the southern United States on their way down to Havana, Cuba. 7 of these ships were lost due to a hurricane in the Pensacola Bay area in September of 1559. One, called the Emmanuel Point Shipwreck, has been found and is believed to be the oldest known wreck in the state. Records indicate one of the lost vessels was a galleon or treasure ship. The ships are believed to have anchored at the Bay of Santa Maria, believed to be Pensacola Bay, on August 14, 1559, and while there they were struck by a violent storm on September 19, 1559. Some believe the ships to have been loaded with silver. Some treasure hunters believe there are 4 to 7 vessels to be found. According to a State Humanities Council story, the oldest colonial shipwrecks to be discovered in Florida's waters are the 2 Emmanuel Point shipwrecks, located in Pensacola Bay. The story adds, Luna's fleet was struck by a powerful hurricane in September 1559 during the first major European attempt to colonize what is now modern-day Florida. The fleet had sailed from Mexico with all of the supplies necessary to found a self-sustaining and permanent colony at Pensacola. In 1632 a hurricane swept through the area and sank 5 Spanish galleons anchored there. Total loss was estimated at $5 million. In the late 1700s, 14 ships of various tonnage were lost in the bay. On April 19, 1781, the Spanish frigate Francesca, loaded with war materials, ran aground on a shoal just inside Pensacola Bay. In 1814, the Spanish ship Intrepido, commanded by Alferez de Navio Marques, or Marques, del Moral, was wrecked on Pensacola Beach during a storm. Another ship, Orfalacho, also named Intrepido but commanded by José Ayusla de Gimbarda, was lost in Pensacola Bay in 1823. On March 25, 1815, the Spanish galeta Volador of Valdor, and having 10 cannons, entered Pensacola Bay carrying a large cargo of goods and rifles. That night a storm caused the ship to become stranded. The ship broke up and all its cargo was lost. On September 15, 1821 a hurricane caused several ships of unknown tonnage to sink in Pensacola Bay. The American Civil War accounts for several wrecks in the Pensacola area and many were sunk in Pensacola.